Well, hello, happy Thursday, and welcome to Elegant Sentiments today. I'm Sheryl. I'm the owner of Elegant Sentiments, and this is our weekly card share number 110. So, thank you so much for watching, whether you're watching live here with me or on replay. I appreciate all the views, so thank you so much. So today I've got some more Lisa Horton products. I love Lisa Horton if you haven't figured that out yet, but these are the inks from her newest line of inks, the colors that are inspired by William Morris. So I'm pretty sure these are the colors of the month this month at Lisa Horton Crafts. I may have them mixed up, but I've got Sambourne Lily, Jasmine Sage, Pimpernel Rose, and then I have from the Year in Bloom, I've got the August Hydrangea. This is a set of 12 3D embossing folders. I've used several of these throughout my lives. And then I've got another of my favorite craft dies that I'm pairing with that, the Fantasy Bloom layering dies. And one of her newer fundamental layers dies, nested dies, I've got the nested petal. And so I'll be using the largest of these dies. And then for my sentiment, I brought back in the Floral Wishes studio collection, and I think what I used with love to you on my card for today. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll show you the sample. I made this a couple of weeks ago, and I actually shared this card in Lisa's Facebook group, Crafting with Lisa Horton. And I thought I would go ahead and make this one because it is fun to make and I love the colors together. And so this is, I'm going to, let me see if I can zoom in so you can see the colors a little bit better. Hopefully, let's see here if I can get myself situated to zoom. Helps if you push the right button. Yeah, so it's a little easier to see the colors there. So that is the color that I'm using, and I'll back out and go ahead and get started um, with the project. So this is like all my cards, it's a fun, simple, elegant card that's very easy to make. And I'm going to start with some inking. I'm going to bring in my little sticky mat here, and then I've got a big scrap of um, just white cardstock. This, I've got a bigger piece than normal because this is a pretty large die. I'm doing a 5x7 card, and I'm using the largest of the two dies. So this is bigger than a 5x7. So when I cut it out, I'm going to need quite a bit of panel ink there. So I'm using a larger size than normal. And I'm going to start with the Jasmine. So I'm going to just use the large blending brush and start inking up this panel in the Jasmine, and then I'll migrate to the Sambourne Lily and then end up with the Pimpernel Rose. So, and these ink pads have been getting a workout because I fell in love with these colors. They're right up my alley with the pretty pastels. And every week I try to show different ones. But I keep these are my favorites, as you can tell. I did a really pretty monochromatic with the cottage powder. It's a real pretty blue that I used for that one. But this one, I'm just using the three colors and just inking up the panel. I'm gonna do a little darker than I would normally go because this color will lighten up over time as it dries. So I want to make sure that it retains this nice sagey color. And I'm not worried about a perfect blend. They blend really easily, but I'm not worried about perfection and getting this color onto this panel because I'm going to emboss it some. So, and I think that's, oh, get a little bit more. And then I'm going to bring in the Sambourne Lily, which is a smooth, it's almost like a pale butter color. And when you look at it in real life, and so I'm just going in with the Sambourne Lily and letting these two colors mix a little and just blending away. I think using my black mat, I got a new black mat here, and I think that my lighting isn't really happy with this black mat. So I think next week I might try going back to just my glass mat and see if it makes a difference. I can't tell. I noticed a live that I did earlier in the week. Actually, it was a recording that I did earlier in the week. The colors, my camera seems like it struggles to pick up these soft colors, and I use soft colors a lot. So that's going to be an issue if I don't get it fixed. But so then I'll go to the Pimpernel Rose and do the same thing. These are really nice blending brushes. If you are a Pink Fresh studio person, they're very comparable in how they blend with the 1-inch Pink Fresh. These are a little bit smaller. These are 3/4 an inch, and these are called Pro Blend brushes by Lisa Horton Crafts. And I really like these inks, and I like the way this brush works with these inks. It's just really, it's a super smooth blend and doesn't require a lot of work, which is one of the things that I really love. These all of Lisa's matte blending inks will dry to a nice smooth chalky finish, but this newer group of inks are smoother and smoother of all of the inks. I think that's going to be big enough. Let's see, I'm going to bring in my dye to see if I have enough. Yeah, I probably need to go on these edges a little bit more because I want to make sure it's all covered. I don't want any white peeking through. So I have to widen this on all the way down this left side here. I have to watch myself with these multicolored ink pads out because I am very good at sticking my brush in the wrong color. You probably, if you watch my videos, you've seen me do it more than once. I'm very good at it. It's my superpower. Okay, and then I'll go back and do the Jasmine Sage as well. And then I think we'll have enough to call the blending done. I might just go back over everything just a little bit. Okay. So we've got a really nice blend here. And okay. Then I think this will work. Yeah. So that's going to be fine. So I'm going to trim this down just a wee bit so that it'll fit through my, well, I don't know. It'll fit just the way it is. I'm using my Platinum 6 over here off to the side, and I'm going to die cut this. I want the colors to be kind of at an angle. So I've got to, there we go. There. And get some tape. And I'm going to run this through my Platinum 6. And then, well, if I get this off of there, I will do that. All right. I hope you're having a good week. It's a beautiful day in Central Ohio here. It was sunny, not particularly warm, but it was nice and sunny and bright. And I just love those kind of days. Just always the sunshine makes me happy. Okay. So here is our petal. Well, did I miss it? Looks like I might have missed a little piece here. Yep, I did. I'm just going to run this back through. No, you know what? I'm not going to chance it. I'm just going to use my scissors to snip that little part because I don't want to risk there. And I should have what I intended to do on my sample. I just wanted a little extra interest. So I cut a frame and I intended to do that with this first run. So let me do that now and then I'll emboss it together. I'm going to keep it together, but I just like the extra row of stitching for just a little more visual interest, nothing, no other reason. And if you wanted to, you could pop it up or pop up the outer rim because this will create a frame, but I'm just going to keep the two pieces together and run it through when I emboss it and keep it together on a flat panel on the card. I got a lot of junk on my desk over here. I need to move some things, tidy up a little bit when I get done. Okay, so now I've got my two pieces and I'm going to emboss these together. And then I'll also emboss the background panel that I'm using for this. And be careful with my tape. I don't want to pull up any of my ink. There we go. Okay. And then for my embossing folder, I'm using, this is from the 2026 Year in Bloom, and it's the August folder. It's a set of 12. They come in a set of 12. And this one is for August, and it's the Hydrangea. And I like this one for this card because it'll give, it makes a really great background because it's so full. So I chose this one. Now to stick this into the folder. Get it in there like so, and then I'll run it through using just the regular plates for the sandwich for embossing. So I've got my adapter plate, my gray adapter plate, and the platform base. I'm using the little shim with this one too. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead, if I have this embossing folder out in my sandwich setup, I'm going to go ahead and emboss the panel that I'm using for my background. This is a 5x7 card, so this, I think I cut this at 4 3/8, 4 1/8. I can't remember. What did I cut this to? I really don't remember. That's sad. Let's see. It should have been 4 1/4. Actually, I think this, I'm going to, let me measure this. To be honest, I might not have cut this. Now that I look at this piece, I think it should be 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. And this looks bigger. No, I was right. 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. Is that right? That's what's wrong. It was too long. I kept looking, I said, no, this should fit in that embossing folder because it's a 5x7 folder. There we go. Now it makes sense. And it'll fit nicely in our embossing folder. And I'll run this through and it'll give me my background panel. Okay, and then I did do some homework, so let me bring that in. I have a layering piece for the card front that that is an 1/8 an inch larger than this panel, and then I just took the Sambourne or the Jasmine Sage and inked around so that I could have a coordinated panel for my card base. So it'll, you know what? I made this panel. Okay, so I need to cut this down because I made this panel 6 3/4. And so I'll cut this down 1/8 of an inch. So I had 4 3/4, so I'll cut that down 1/8 of an inch, and I'll do the same thing on this other side. 6 3/4, and I'll make it 1/8 of an inch smaller. I was doing not so great with my cutting today. Well, oh, oh gosh, just don't pay attention to my math today because my math is definitely not mathing. So I must have done that at 6 1/2. And so let me go back 6 1/2 and down 1/8. And that doesn't look like it's going to be long enough. I need a, what I really need is, what do you call the, I need another, what, 1/4 inch off of there. So wherever this was, so I take it down 1/4. All right. I think I got it. Me thinks. Yes. There we go. Okay. But now my question is my panel going to fit my card front? And it does. Okay, so I'm fine with my card front. And then am I going to be fine with my pieces? And yes. Okay, so we're good. All right, crisis averted. Okay, so what I did with my homework, let me clean up some of this mess here. Moving on with the homework. I did go ahead, I stamped my sentiment from the Floral Floral Wishes, this with love to you. And then I used the small, not the smallest, but the next to the smallest die, this one, and cut that out. So that'll coordinate. That's our sentiment. And then let me put this away so it doesn't get lost. And then I took one of the, I just took another piece and die cut it in white, and I snipped off that corner. So I'll have this little corner piece to act as my little flower pot. I used on my sample, I used an actual flower pot die that I had somewhere, but this was quicker. So I just cut that, and I'm going to ink this up, and that'll be our little flower pot. You can always improvise if you don't have things that you want. See, this one, I cut the base off of a flower pot from another die set. But if you only have the nested petal dies, you can still make this card. And then I did go ahead and die cut the leaves from the Fantasy Blooms and all of the flowers. So I put all the flowers together except for one. I'm going to ink up this one, and then we will be ready to create a card. So let me get my mat back in here, and I'm going to pull these pieces over onto my mat and ink them up. And these little pieces in my fingers. Here we go. Make sure I get that on the right side there. Okay. So I'm just going to ink these using the Sambourne Lily for the center of the flower and the little piece that's on the base. And then the Pimpernel Rose for everything else. So I'm just going to ink up this piece that goes in the center. And I'm not worried about it going all the way down because it's not going to be seen. It'll be covered up by the front piece. So just inking that up. And then I'll do Pimpernel Rose on the other petals. Hi, Rebecca. Oh, hi, Susan. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you being here. It's always fun to craft with friends. So I'm just using the Pimpernel Rose and inking up the base of this one and kind of carrying the color out, but not all the way to the edge. I'm keeping the base of the top part of the petal white, but there's just a little hint of color going all the way up. And I'll do on this one, I just need the top part to be inked up with this Pimpernel Rose. It's a really pretty color. It's like a orangey pink. It's very pretty, very unique. I like it a lot. So if you're not a pink person and you're not an orange person, this will be perfect because it's right in the middle. Okay, and so then let's see, I'll get my glue and we'll put this together. And I'll put some glue down on this bigger part. Uh-oh, maybe. I had my glue out yesterday when I was working on some other stuff. I thought I primed it. when I finished, but maybe I didn't. There we go. And just line that up. That's a little center. And then we'll add the outer petal. And line it up. There. Hold it for a second. I'm going to take it off of this sticky mat. And get that lined up. And then I'm going to add a teeny bit of glue down here for this little base. And then add this little base to, well, if I can pick it up, I'll add it. Okay, let's get it over here. There we go. And then I can just put it down on there like that. And get that lined up. And there's our pretty little flower. And then I'll add my shadow to my leaves. So I'm just going to alternate them like that. It's kind of hard to see the color difference because they are such a light pale green, but I'll just put some glue on this and put them together, and then we'll add the petals to it. And I think that's going to be good enough. I'm going to pick this up just because it's easier to stick it on there. For me, I can better control the shadow if it's in my hands. Okay. She says, as leaves go everywhere. Here we go. I just want a teeny little shadow all around. Okay. And then we'll add the flower buds to this piece. To the leaves. And one goes there, about like that. And then we do the last one, the little baby. And it'll be like that. Okay, and then so there's our little floral, and I want to add a little bit of ink color to the this little piece that I'm calling my flower pot. And I'll probably, let's see, I'll do that in Sambourne Lily. So I'll just use the ink that I have left on this brush. Well, maybe, let's see, I'll cover it all. I don't know if I have enough ink on there. Nope, I don't. I gotta add some ink. It's such a light color, but I wanted to have some depth to it. And then I'll go around the edge of the top and down one side, make it a little bit darker so it looks like it's got a little bit of a shadow on it. Down one side. And you could use a different color too if you want more shadowing, but like the Bexley Stone would probably make a really nice shadow on this. But we'll go with this because we just need a little shadowing, not a lot. Okay, so there's our little pot, a little makeshift pot for our flowers. And we can start putting everything together. And that's always the fun part. Okay, so I'm just going to start with putting this together first. I'm going to use tape runner, and I'm just going to tape this onto that border panel. And make sure my hydrangea are going the right way. And guess that, yeah, that looks pretty good. And then I'll go ahead and put this onto the card front, and then I will add all the other elements to it. Even though everything is relatively flat, I still want to go ahead and put this on the card front first. Make sure we're going the right way. And then for this, I'm going to put this part down first. Then I think I'll use tape for it because it'll, well, maybe I'll use tape. It's narrow enough. I think I'll be fine. I think I glued my sample down, but I'm going to use this tape. I think. And then, I don't know, this might not have been a good decision because you have to be a really straight driver. And I am not with this. Well, we did. Oh, got a couple of pieces we have to bend under. Okay. So there we go. And we're going to put this, there's another little part. I'll put this down. And if you wanted, like, you could pop this part up. But I'm just going to angle it onto here, about like that. And then this one, I'll use glue for this one because I want to get those edges all the way down. Well, I just primed this. I guess I gotta do it again. I need to refill it too. That would probably help. Thanks, Rebecca. I'm kind of a drunk driver with that tape sometimes. So I use tape when I've got straight shots. I was being adventurous today. And I think I got it pretty good. And then we'll just lay that down in there. Like so. And give you that little extra bit of a little texture there. And then I'll do my flower pot. Now I'm going to use tape and a foam square so that it has a little bit of dimension as soon as I find where I put my foam squares. Here they are. So I'm just going to stick a foam square kind of at the base of this, right in there. So that, and I'll probably cut one. Let me cut another one, I think. And to give it some dimension, but I want it still to be able to glue down on the sides so that it's going to be kind of rounded like that off of the card is what I'm going for. And then I've still got room to stick my flowers down in the pot. So I'm going to put some glue here and over here and there. And add our little pot to the card. Hold that for a second or two to let these pieces grab. And then I just want to take my little pokey tool while I'm holding this and just lift that center up. I want to keep that center nice and lifted. And then I can add my flowers into the pot. And I might have to cut. Nope, we're good. So I'll just, and I'm only adding glue on the base because I want these to be kind of free to lift up. And if you wanted, you could put some, matter of fact, I'll go ahead and do that. I'll put a foam square underneath the flowers, but not the leaves. So, well, I'll make it a little one for that one. And, well, come off my finger. I'll use a bigger one for this one. And I'll use a smaller one for the other one. There we go. And we'll let the baby stay down. And then for our sentiment, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put some foam squares behind the center right in here. And we'll let it, one end of it be up. And the other, this will be down. Oh, thank you, Susan. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, I just, use what you have if you don't have a flower pot. And then I'm just going to stick this on, oops, I want to put some glue on this part. because I do want that to stay down flat behind this leaf. And then the last thing I'll do is add a little pearl to my sentiment. Let me clean up my mess here. I try to be a neat crafter, but it's not easy for me. All right, so then I'm going to take one of these pearls. I think I want a bigger one. Let's go with this size and just stick it right there. And that is today's project. Let me zoom it in a little bit so you can see the colors hopefully a little bit better. But yeah, that's the project. I hope that you like it, and if you do, give me a thumbs up. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your feedback. I really, really do appreciate it. I hope that you have a fantastic week and that you get some time to craft some kindness of your own and put it out there in the world. And we will see you next time. I'll be here next week, and I hope you will too. Have a great week, and thank you all for your feedback. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here, and bye for now.